Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a topic video on how Arrow can improve for the rest of Season 5. And the person who recommended this was RabbitEarsBlog, so if you want to go check out her channel, in the description below there is a link. And guys, if you have any recommendations for future topic videos, please let me know in the comments below. If I answer them, that means in a couple of weeks I'll either be on Comic Uno or Comic Frontline, because I double dose my topic videos. Usually for Comic Uno, I have them every Friday with my comic book reviews, and for Comic Frontline, I have them every Sunday or Monday. So let's start talking about this topic, though. How can we improve Arrow Season 5? Now, I will say I didn't really like a lot of episodes of this first half of the season, but then after the crossover, I felt the show really picked up and found out what it was missing. So the reason I didn't like the first half of Season 5 was the new recruits, honestly. I think they took up a lot of time in the show, and they jumped into being heroes and main characters so quickly, where what I loved about the show is that you saw Laurel's journey of becoming a hero, Thea, Felicity, Diggle, and they didn't jump into the costume in one episode. I mean, Thea took, 3 seasons for just to learn, martial arts and just how to protect herself, and then Season 4 it took until she became Speedy, and then same for Diggle. I mean, he was on the team, but he didn't even get a mask until Season 4. Laurel, I mean, she had some background, but then she learned a bit more in again, Season 3 too, so, yeah, I felt, having that journey made them have an earned spot and made them more developed characters. So when you look at the new recruits, the only new recruit I feel that kind of deserves the spot and I cared about was Curtis, because we saw him last season and he kind of had that build up to become this hero. So I liked Curtis. And then Artemis, I mean, I love Artemis from Young Justice, so to see that character just kind of use the name and not do anything else with it was upsetting. And then just having that random cliffhanger of her teaming up with Prometheus just because, that I felt like could have been better. I just didn't like the character, especially after you killed off Laurel, and you definitely needed more of a female presence in the show. Then you have the Artemis character, who was very weak. And then, I mean, I'll talk about Thea, but Thea not really doing much. She just kind of hanging out in the mayor's office, but we'll talk about that. And then the other recruits, Ragman, I always forget his name. I want to call him Ragdoll all the time. That's a different DC character. But yeah, Ragman, they always try to give him a story, like that little Felicity and what she did last season and how it affected him. But it felt forced. It never felt natural that he was having that story. It just felt like we need a background story because someone needs to care about him. But it didn't make me actually care about the character. And then Wild Dog also, I mean, he's gotten a lot of focus in the show, but I've never cared for him. I think the only time I really cared was between him and Diggle, and I feel like if he was a supporting character first and they brought him in slowly, I would care about his character more. I would say the characters that probably deserve the spot the most here is Wild Dog, and if he was a supporting character, I think he would have worked more instead of being forced into every episode. And then you have Curtis because he's been built. So that was a huge problem I had. And then because of these new recruits, you didn't have time for the other supporting characters we know and love, like Felicity. Felicity, either she always has too much screen time or she has too little. And this first half of Season 5, she had too little. She just didn't really have much to do. So I see that changing now after the events of the mid-season finale, though. I'm actually very excited for her arc. And then Diggle, because of the things happening with the law with him, I would say he's probably one of the strongest out of the supporting characters getting story, but he's also kind of on the side, he's definitely become more of a side character instead of a supporting character. And a character I think that's definitely been affected the most by this is Thea, because she hasn't been Speedy, but I liked what they've done in the crossover in the mid-season, where she's starting to become Speedy again, because I really do feel like there's something missing there without her. And really, she's still on the show, and she just doesn't have anything to do without being in the cave or being Speedy, because they're not giving her an arc in that mayor's office. If they tried doing it with Quentin, and I actually liked that story, but it was so limited, the screen time, that you didn't really get to see much from Quentin and Thea there. But I do hope that continues in the next half after the reveal of the mid-season finale of Laurel being back. So very excited for that. And I think that's going to be a real push for supporting characters. Now, one thing I do want to say that I actually thought they did very well with Season 5 is Oliver's love interest, where we have this new journalist that supposedly is going to be important next half of the season. I would love for her to be, related in some way to Prometheus, because so far that's a little bit of a weaker storyline, is not Prometheus himself. I mean, the mystery idea kind of is, because we've seen that so many times in the Arrowverse, that they hide the identity until the end, and you don't really get to know the villain. And I will say Arrow tends not to do that, but it's very much a Flash thing, and now we're kind of getting it in Arrow, and I don't think it works. I think Malcolm Merlyn is the best villain in the CW universe, because we know him so well, and we've seen him developed. And I love this is what John Barrowman says about his own character. The reason, I think he's such a great character is because he thinks he's the hero of his own story. I think that makes an awesome villain, of someone justifying their thoughts instead of just twisting their mustache type thing. So hopefully Prometheus will be developed. But going back to the journalist, I hope that she's connected to Prometheus in some way, because right now it's some random guy's son, or just child. We don't know if it's a son or not. I don't think it's the girl in the Prometheus suit, because, figure-wise, I don't think it is. But it'd be interesting if she's related in some way to Prometheus. And it'd be very much a shock if she is Prometheus. I don't know how they get away with that, but it would be very much a shock. So hopefully they're building up her story to be something. And then we have Talia coming here, so I'm excited for that. So I think with the crossover in the mid-season, there's a lot of good promise for this back half of the season of Arrow learning from its mistakes. I think the mid-season really proved that, the mid-season finale, and the 100th episode. Just utilize your supporting characters and make Oliver utilize his supporting characters, but then don't add too many supporting characters that we don't really know about. Give them a gradual build-up as much as you did the characters we love, Thea, Diggle, Laurel, Felicity. So those are my thoughts on the upcoming half of the season for Arrow and how it can improve. So let me know in the comments below what you think. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there are links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.